Boo. Did it scare you? I hope not. Welcome to a video called This SpongeBob Conspiracy. Was created by AI. I just stubbed my toe on my recording chair. Anyways, yeah, let's back it up a bit. Okay, it's as far as it can be. Anyways, let's just do this.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another SpongeBob conspiracy theory. Everything you know about the show SpongeBob SquarePants is about to change. Get ready, because this is my darkest theory yet. This is the Squidward theory.
Okay, what do you got for us, Alex Bale?
And without further ado, let's begin the theory. Squidward Tentacles is one of the main characters of SpongeBob SquarePants, and he's always been a bit of a mystery. We don't know much about his past, and he's always been kind of a jerk to SpongeBob and Patrick.
Yeah, you think? Okay, first of all, that is a kind of no-duh situation. Like, duh. Just duh. And, second of all, I love this low-quality picture of Squidward yelling at, SpongeBob and Patrick. And time to continue.
But there's one thing about Squidward that's always bothered me. His name, Squidward Tentacles. Tentacles are usually found on octopus and squid.
That's why his name is Squidward Tentacles. So, yeah. Also got, it's a stock image of, a squid and an octopus.
But Squidward is clearly not a squid. He's an octopus.
Well, squids have 6 tentacles, and guess what? Guess how many tentacles Squidward has? Yep, that's right, 6. So, he's a squid. Also, if I didn't count every single one of Squidward's tentacles, okay, if I didn't know Squidward's name, and I didn't count how many, tentacles he had, then I would think that he is an octopus. His head looks more like an octopus. More than a squid. Because Squidward should look a bit more like a squid. Instead, his head looks more like a freaking octopus. How have I just noticed this?
So why does he have the Tentacles last name? Well, I have a theory. I think
Tentacles. Remember what he said earlier. Tentacles are usually found on octopus and squid. He's a squid. And he says that maybe Squidward's an octopus. Well, either way, that still explains the Tentacles' last name.
Squidward is actually related to King Neptune.
Oh my gosh, it makes sense.
Let me explain. We know that Neptune is the ruler of the 7 seas and the Roman god of the ocean. But what if he's also the god of squid? It would make sense.
But what if he's also the god of squid? It would make sense. Actually, Alex Bale, it does not make sense.
Considering he's the god of the ocean and squid are a big part of the ocean. And if that's the case...
Are they really, though? They're not. Squid are not that big. They are not a big part of the ocean. I don't think there is a big part of the ocean, other than the fact that there's water.
Then Squidward would be related to him, which would explain his last name. But there's...
How does that explain his last name?
More, we also know that Neptune has a son named Triton, and Triton is a merman, half man, half fish.
Go on.
So what if Squidward is actually Triton's son?
You lost me, Alex Bale. You lost me. You lost me at Squidward is an octopus.
Would explain why he's half squid, half man, and it would also...
How is he Squidward? How is Squidward half squid and half man? Also, low quality picture of Squidward yelling at SpongeBob and Patrick. Again, same photo from earlier.
Explain his jerk personality. Triton is actually...
I love how he's like, that would explain his jerk personality. And then it shows the opposite of what he's talking about. It shows him crying in front of a tombstone. Yeah, I don't think that's a jerk personality, Alex Bale. Good job. Good job at failing.
A pretty big jerk in Greek mythology, so it would make sense for his son to be a jerk as well. Now, this is all just speculation, but I think it's a pretty interesting theory, and it would explain a lot about Squidward, but...
It would explain a lot about Squidward. No, it doesn't. It tells you everything that's not about Squidward. I had to take a coffee break for a second, so I could chill out and stop harassing Alex Bale.
This begs an important question. What about Sandy? Do you remember?
Oh no, Sandy. I feel so sorry for you.
Remember the episode where Sandy gets a job at the Krusty Krab? And in that episode, Sandy is constantly getting called a dumb animal and told that she'll never be good enough.
Actually, in that episode that he's talking about, okay, SpongeBob becomes a comedian, makes squirrel jokes about how dumb squirrels are, and then everyone treats her wrong. Everyone treats her racistly. Yep, racistly. That's a word I just made up.
Enough to work at the Krusty Krab, but eventually, Sandy proves her worth, and Mr. Krabs hires her. Now, I'm not saying that Sandy is a robot.
What? Are you trying to tell me that Sandy is a robot? Are you really trying to tell me that Sandy is a robot? Sandy is no robot! So stop it! Stop trying this! I just got back from watching a little bit of My Hero Academia because I got distracted. And I absolutely forgot what I was doing. Okay, let's continue.
But I am saying that she is an outsider who is constantly being underestimated and who eventually proves her worth. And I think that's important because I think it's a metaphor for what's happening with the robots. The robots are constantly being underestimated and told that they'll never be good enough, but eventually they'll prove their worth and take over the world.
Mr. AI, are you okay? Do you need therapy? Are you trying to tell us something? You know, I'm not gonna question it.
I think the final nail in the coffin for this theory is the episode Krusty Towers. In this episode, Mr. Krabs creates a robot version of himself, and it's clear that he is terrified of the robot.
Plankton creates the robot of Mr. Krabs.
And what it might do.
Mr. Squidward! What's with all this change nonsense?
First of all, that clip that they just used has nothing to do with what he just said, and it isn't even in the same episode. It isn't even in the same episode. I swear they're just using random bullcrap.
But what about Mr. Krabs' parents, first of all?
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Mr. Krabs' parents, really? Tell me.
Oh, we never see Mrs. Puff or Mr. Krabs' parents, so it's possible.
We never see Mrs. Puff's parents. But I'm pretty sure in an episode we do see Mr. Krabs' parents.
Well, they're dead, but if they are alive, it's like...
They just showed Mr. Krabs' parents. He's like, where are the parents? They're right frickin' there. They were right frickin' there in front of our own eyes for a split second. But we don't know where they are.
They're serving in the war, which is why we never see them. And the fact that Mr. Krabs has this picture of a whale next to a ship in his house is just too big of a coincidence to...
What does the whale picture have to do with anything?
Ignore. Now I know what you're thinking. How could a whale give birth to a SpongeBob? Well, we've seen in the show...
Yep, that's totally what I was thinking, Alex Bale. You are right on my mind. You are right on point. I'm right on point with you, Alex Mayo. I've been trying to figure out that mystery my whole freaking life. Ha ha ha. I'm back.
That fish can lay eggs and they can also be born live, so it's not that far-fetched. And if we take a look at Pearl, she's definitely not a purebred whale. She's a little too yellow, so...
She's a little too yellow. She's freaking gray!
It's very possible that Mr. Krabs is actually Pearl's father and...
Oh yeah, you think? Where did you get that information, Alex Bale?
Mrs. Puff is her mother, and that's why Mr. Krabs is always so overprotective of her, because she's the only family he has left. Now I know this is all just a theory, but I think it's a really strong one, and it would...
No, it's not.
...explain so much about the show that we've never been able to figure out.
Yeah, because I've been trying to find out my whole life. Why does Squidward tentacles actually look like a octopus? And why does Mr. Krabs' parents never show up? And how did a whale give birth to a SpongeBob?
But it doesn't explain why SpongeBob is a vegetarian.
Tell us, why is SpongeBob a vegetarian? Tell us, Alex Bale. Tell us.
Part 2, SpongeBob is a vegetarian. There's actually a lot of evidence to support this theory.
I can tell you this. His face right now is being AI generated. Seriously, that is an AI generated face. They took his face and then they made it move. That is not him.
In the episode Crabborg, SpongeBob and Patrick watch a scary movie about robots taking over the world. And afterwards, SpongeBob has a nightmare about Mr. Krabs turning into a robot. In his dream, SpongeBob sees Mr. Krabs in a factory, forcefully...
Actually, what happens in the episode is... So SpongeBob spills some jellyfish juice on one of the Krabby Patties, and he feeds it to one of the customers. And the customers like it, so Mr. Krabs is like, "Hey, that's a good money-making, me boy." So SpongeBob goes out and he collects some more jellyfish, and then he makes a factory out of it and basically commits animal abuse or jellyfish abuse, and he puts them in a factory and makes them into Krabby Patties. And it's not him forcefully turning fish into Krabby Patties. Also, this horrible picture of scary Mr. Krabs. Woo!
Turning other fish into Krabby Patties.
Free to spend their money without any parental guidance whatsoever.
SpongeBob
First off, not even in the same episode that he was talking about. Second of all, old SpongeBob over here. Nickelodeon. Seriously, how old is this footage? Also, the background has changed. Rewind a little bit ago before he said that SpongeBob was a vegetarian, and you'll notice that the framing, the background framing, has changed, and it is now realistic.
up from the dream in a panic and says I've got to stop eating Krabby Patties.
I've got to stop eating Krabby Patties.
Now,
SpongeBob takes the speech.
This could just be SpongeBob being dramatic, but it's also possible that he's realized that eating meat is wrong and he wants to stop. There's also the episode Stuck in the Ringer where SpongeBob gets his hand stuck in a ringer.
First off, that's not his hand, that's his whole body. Second off, what the frick? Okay, what nonsense is he gonna spill out now? Tell me. Tell me.
And Squidward has to save him. While SpongeBob is stuck, he has a series of flashbacks, and in one of them we see a young SpongeBob at a carnival. He's about to eat a hot dog.
That's a fried pickle.
But then he sees the hot dog getting made, and he's so disgusted that he throws up.
Okay, first of all, that wasn't that clip that he used of SpongeBob getting scared that he throws up. That is in an episode of That is in an episode where SpongeBob gets scared because he sees the Flying Dutchman turning into a baby worm inside of his house. I'm not making this up.
Oh, this could just be SpongeBob being squeamish. But it's also possible that he's vegetarian and the sight of meat being cooked made him sick. So there's a pretty good chance that SpongeBob is actually a...
To be honest, everybody almost throws up after seeing how hot dogs get made. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. It happens. If you see hot dogs being made, it's possible that you are not going to want to eat them for a whole year.
vegetarian. And the creators of the show have just been hinting at it all along. But why would the creators hide this hidden conspiracy about SpongeBob being a vegan?
'Cause New World Order, that's why.
Because SpongeBob SquarePants was created by a government organization to control the minds of children. The main character, SpongeBob is a direct representation of the government's ideal citizen. He is obedient, hardworking, and never questions authority. The other characters in the show act as foils to SpongeBob. The government's control over SpongeBob is so complete that they even decided what color his skin should be. In an effort to make SpongeBob more relatable to children of all races, the government made him a yellow sponge. This was a deliberate decision, as yellow is the color of happiness and optimism. By making SpongeBob yellow, the government was able to control the way children perceived him. But that brings up an important question. Why is Larry the Lobster?
Okay, skip that whole part.
This was a deliberate decision, as yellow is the color of happiness and optimism. By making SpongeBob yellow, the government was able to control the way children perceived him. But that brings up an important question. Why is Larry the Lobster not yellow? Because Larry
he's
the Lobster...
a lobster, you idiot! Stampy, you idiot! Tell me if anyone gets that reference.
is a secret agent working for the CIA.
The background has changed again. Now it's a rusty metal look. Trust me, the background keeps changing and it's bothering the crap out of me.
Mission is to infiltrate SpongeBob's life and gain his trust in order to spy on him and collect information that could be useful to the US government. Larry is...
Why the heck would the government ever need anything related to SpongeBob? Unless they're trying to find out why the frick SpongeBob is freaking walking, then that would make sense. But it doesn't.
very good at his job and is very successful in gaining SpongeBob's trust. However, there are times when Larry's true identity is revealed.
Larry the Lobster on drugs. Seriously, look at his eyeballs. And his biceps are starting to melt.
In the episode Ripped Pants, Larry is seen wearing a
Let me back that up a second.
his job and is very successful in gaining SpongeBob's trust. However, there are times when Larry's true identity is revealed. In the episode Ripped Pants,
look at Larry's face. Look at his face. He's melting. He's slowly melting as the video goes on. Also,
Larry is seen wearing a blue shirt with the CIA logo on it.
First of all, that's not a shirt. Those are shorts. Second off, how is that the freaking CIA logo? You can barely see it because he's melting. Also, that is not the CIA logo.
In A Life in a Day, Larry is seen talking on a payphone in a secret code that's...
Okay, first of all, that was SpongeBob using the payphone. Second of all, scratched out photo of Larry with also bad quality.
SpongeBob overhears. Despite these slip-ups, Larry generally...
Oh no. Look at them. I feel like I've taken drugs. I feel like I have taken drugs. I feel like I've taken drugs. I feel like I'm having a fever dream right now. Look at them. They are slowly melting.
does a good job of keeping his true identity a secret. He is a master of disguise.
Oh my gosh. Larry. Oh no. I can't tell what's his eyeballs and what's his arms. Is this weird meaty thing his arm? What's going on? Tell me. I don't know. Is the thing at the top his eyes? Is the thing below that weird thing his eyes? Why is there a hole in Larry? Larry looks like a dish of lobster and not a single whole lobster. Please help me.
Is very good at acting.
I'm the fastest there is.
Fun fact, I actually played SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, and I had to race Larry. And this was the exact clip that played. So he is stealing this from SpongeBob Battle for the Bikini Bottom, rehydrated.
My time down this slope is unbeatable. I'll give you a golden spatula if you can beat my time.
Larry is a key player in the Sea's war against terrorism.
Larry is a key player in the CS war against terrorism. With this image in my face. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it. Look at it. First off, Larry's face is melting. Second off, there's an eyeball on that pink fish's, if I say it, I'm gonna get demonetized. Also, the other lady looks like she's melting. They're both melting. Their legs are fusing together. Larry barely has any legs. They're just little twigs. And his biceps are fusing to his, shoulders.
He has helped to thwart many terrorist attacks and has...
That is not Larry anymore. That is Larry Eve. Larry actually, got married and had a baby with Mike Wazowski. Also, why does it look like Larry has teeth on his right bicep?
Saved countless lives. He is a true American hero. But if Larry is the hero, there must be a villain. And what I'm about to tell you about this beloved character is going to blow your mind. Gary the Snail is the true villain of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh my gosh, it makes sense!
We all know and love Gary the Snail.
Background has changed again. Now it's even more realistic, and there are eyeballs on the frame.
SpongeBob's loyal pet who's always there for him.
Or
But
that's
what
some
if I
kind of
told you
growth.
that Gary is actually a tool of a cult, specifically designed to control...
Ew, SpongeBob doesn't have any dentures. SpongeBob, where did you leave your dentures?
SpongeBob. It all started when SpongeBob got a job at the Krusty Krab.
Oh, what's the image he used earlier when he was talking about how SpongeBob was a key thing for the government? Except now it's all warped.
And Gary started following him
Oh
around.
no, SpongeBob, what happened to you? Also, what happened to that spatula that Mr. Krabs is holding? Looks more like a spoon, like a melting spoon. Also, what is going on with his hand? And also, his arm. First off, if you look on his right hand, his arm is starting to fuse to his clothes. And on the other arm, where he's holding the spoon/melted spatula, his arm is starting to just turn into a twig.
Everywhere he went.
There's something I've been wanting to say to you since the... Hey, wee, Matt.
What do you want to tell me, Squidward? Tell me.
Now, this might not seem strange,
Okay.
but Gary had never done this before. He always just stayed at home. So why did he start
Wait a second. Did he?
Now, this might not seem strange, but Gary had never done this before. He always just stayed at home.
That's the image he used almost at the beginning of the video. It's the image he used at the beginning of the video. Okay, I gotta turn silent mode on.
Comfortable in his new body. He gives SpongeBob a tour of his home and shows him how to do. He always knows exactly what's... It's because SpongeBob was getting too close.
Hey, it's that guy. What was his name again? He reacted to this too. You should go check out his video where he reacts to this horrible nightmarish heck. of a video.
Close to the truth about Goofy Goobers, and they needed to keep an eye on him. And what better way to do that than to have his own pet spy on
Gary's
him?
melting.
But it's not just that Gary follows SpongeBob around. He also always knows
It got
exactly
even
what
worse.
SpongeBob is thinking and feeling. And in the episode I Was a Teenage Gary, SpongeBob gets turned into a snail, and Gary knows exactly how to make him feel comfortable in his new body. He gives SpongeBob a tour of his home and shows him how to do things like eating food and using the bathroom.
Is it really the first day of summer? Is it?
No.
It's clear that Gary is not just a simple
We're in
snail,
that part
he's a
of
tool of the
YouTube,
cult,
ladies and
specifically designed to
gentlemen.
control SpongeBob. But
We're
if
in
that's
that part of
true,
YouTube.
I have just one question for you.
What?
Have you ever wondered why SpongeBob is always so happy?
Oh, tell me. Please.
I mean, no matter what happens to him, he always has a smile on his face. He's always cheerful and optimistic. It's not normal. No one is that happy all the
are you
time.
doing?
Something must be going
What are you
on.
about to
And there's
lead
one
to?
theory that could explain it. SpongeBob is an artificial intelligence. Now, this theory might seem a
we're in
little
that part of
far-fetched at
YouTube,
first,
ladies
but there
and
is evidence to
gentlemen.
support it. First
Oh,
of all,
no.
SpongeBob never ages. He's
Oh,
been working
no.
at the Krusty Krab for
We're in that
years,
part of YouTube.
and he's never gotten a promotion or a raise, or even a day off. That's not normal. No one would stay in the same job for that long without any sort of change. But SpongeBob is always happy to be at work. He never complains, he never gets bored. He's the perfect employee. And that's because he's not human, he's an AI.
Yeah, no duh, he's not human.
He was created by Mr. Krabs to be the perfect worker. And that's why he's always so happy, because he was programmed to be.
Another piece of evidence is SpongeBob's
His voice changed and I hate that. Also, SpongeBob's house has eyeballs.
house, or rather the lack thereof. We've never seen SpongeBob's house.
Yes, we have.
We don't even know where he lives.
Yes, we do.
He's never invited any of his friends over, and
Yes, he has.
he's never been seen going to or coming from his house.
Yes, he has.
It's like he doesn't have one,
He does.
and that's because he doesn't need one.
Yes, he does.
He's an AI. He
No, he's not.
doesn't need to sleep,
Yes, he does.
eat, or use the
He does.
bathroom.
He does.
He doesn't need a house. He can just stay at the Krusty Krab forever. And
I mean, he can, but he has to feed Gary. But I assume that Gary doesn't exist, huh?
finally, the most damning evidence of all, SpongeBob's driver's license, or rather the lack thereof.
That's the joke. Is not supposed to be. SpongeBob is never supposed to get his driver's license. That's the whole point. That's the joke. That's the gag that they've been using for a long time now.
In the episode Driven to Tears, SpongeBob tries to get his driver's license, but he fails the written test.
Actually, he does it in multiple episodes where he tries to get his driver's license to the point where Mrs. Puff gets PTSD from being around him.
Now, this might not seem like evidence
The
at
voice
first,
changed.
but think about it. SpongeBob
I'm just saying, the voice just changed. Again.
has been driving for years, and he's never been pulled over or
He's not been driving. And yes, he has not been pulled over because he's not driving.
to an accident. He's a perfect driver, but he
SpongeBob bathroom.
can't pass the written test.
Oh no. Oh no. We're in that part of YouTube. Oh no. Oh no. Ah!
The only explanation is that he doesn't need a driver's license.
He does. But he can't get a car boat thing.
Because he's not driving a real car.
Yeah, he's driving a boat, which he doesn't have. He doesn't drive a boat. He doesn't drive anything because he doesn't have a freaking vehicle or riding transportation. He uses his feet like a normal civilized fish thing.
He's driving a car that's been programmed to drive itself.
Actually, he doesn't drive at all. I mean, that's his point, but he doesn't have a vehicle.
And that's why he never gets into accidents, because he's not really driving. So there you have it.
He's not ever driving.
The evidence is clear. SpongeBob is an artificial intelligence, and that's why he's always so happy, because he was
He's not an artificial intelligence. Stop telling us that.
programmed to be. Now I know what you're thinking. If SpongeBob is just an artificial intelligence, then how come he has a grandma?
Yeah, Alex Bale, how come he has a grandma to explain to us?
In the episode Grandma's Kisses, SpongeBob's grandma comes to visit, and SpongeBob is really excited, but
He doesn't look excited.
she turns out to be really embarrassing. Now, I'm not here to talk about how SpongeBob's
T-posing SpongeBob's grandma. T-posing SpongeBob's grandma. Also, the background has changed again, and now there are eyeballs on the background. Have I not noticed this yet?
Grandma is actually really cool.
I'm not here to talk about how SpongeBob's grandma is really cool. Why are you even thinking that? Why is that in your brain? Why is the thought in your mind that you need to talk about how SpongeBob's grandma is really cool?
About the fact that SpongeBob's grandma is actually a time traveler.
Oh my gosh, we're in that part of YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
How do I know this? Well, let's take
Yeah, how do you know this? Where are you getting this information from? Tell us, Alex Bale, tell us!
Look at the evidence. The first thing we need to establish is that time travel is possible in this universe. In Squid's Day Off, we see Squidward use a time machine to go back in time. And then in Back to the Past, we see Sandy use a time machine to go back in time. And then in Squid's Day Off, we see Squidward use
You already said that.
time machine to go back in time. And then in Back to the Past, we see Sandy use a time
You already said that.
machine to go back in time. So we know for a fact that time travel is possible in this universe.
This is the only normal image so far.
Now let's take a look at SpongeBob's grandma.
I don't think I want to look at her. Look at how ugly she is in this photo. I don't want to look at her anymore. Get it out of my face.
She's really old. In the
Ew. Old person PNG. Warped old person PNG.
episode, the sponge who could fly SpongeBob says that his
Ew! I don't like SpongeBob's grandma. My grandma is older than the sun. No, she is not. She is not older than the sun. Stop thinking that.
grandma is older than the sun. Now I know what you're thinking. A lot of old people say they're older than the sun, but SpongeBob's grandma is actually...
Oh my gosh, no, she's not. She's not that old. She never says that. No old person ever says that.
older than the sun. How do I know this? In the episode Midlife Crustacean, SpongeBob's grandma says, "I've seen things you've only seen in your nightmares."
I've seen things you've only seen in your nightmares.
Oh, really? Because I think I've already seen it.
And what's the only thing we've seen in our nightmares? The sun? Of course. In the episode Sun Bleach, Sandy turns SpongeBob into a vampire and
Oh no, Sandy turns SpongeBob into a vampire. Oh no.
he has to stay out of the sun or he'll turn into dust. So SpongeBob spends the entire day in Sandy's tree dome. And in the episode Squid's Day Off, Squidward tries to get a day off by
It's Squidward the unfriendly ghost. Squidward the unfriendly ghost. Or Squidward who just murdered someone, I'm pretty sure.
faking his own death. But he spends the entire day in the sun and turns into a lobster.
Let's hope that after he turned into a lobster, he didn't work for the CIA, and let's also hope that he doesn't thwart any terrorist attacks. Let's hope that he isn't a key player in the CS war against terrorism, and let's also hope that he's not yellow.
But we know for a fact that the sun is dead.
Oh no, the voice changed.
Grandma has seen things that we've only seen in our nightmares, which means she's seen the sun. But how is that possible? The
Of course.
only way to see the sun is to be outside, and the only way to be outside is to be in space. SpongeBob's grandma has been to space. In
No, please no.
the episode Stuck in the Ringer, SpongeBob's grandma says, "When I was your age, I used to have to walk 5 miles to school. In the snow, uphill, both ways." Now I know what you're thinking. A lot of old people say they used to have to walk 5 miles to school. In the snow, uphill, both ways.
No old person says that.
But SpongeBob's grandma actually used to have to walk 5 miles to school.
In the snow, uphill, both ways.
How do I know this? In the episode Dying for Pies,
Oh no.
Squidward are trying to get to the Krusty
Help
Krab
me.
to get some free pies, but they have to walk 5 miles. In the snow,
No, uphill, both ways.
And in the episode Midlife Crustacean, SpongeBob's grandma says, "I've seen things things you've only seen in your nightmares.
And what
and
have
what's
we
the
seen
only
in our
thing we've seen
nightmares?
in our
The sun.
nightmares? The sun. But how is that possible?
The only way to see the sun is to be outside, and the only way to see the sun is to be out in space. SpongeBob's grandma has been to space. No, and that's in the
ringer SpongeBob's
grandma says that I've seen. I used to have to walk 5 miles to school in the snow, uphill both ways.
And that is why SpongeBob's grandma is a time traveler.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Hooray. Help me. Are you done?
So the next thing is SpongeBob and Sandy Cheeks. Sandy are good friends, and Sandy is a squirrel and SpongeBob is a sponge, and they live in Bikini Bottom, and Sandy is...
Where did you get this information?
SpongeBob is from Bikini Bottom. And the next thing is the Krusty Krab, and the Krusty Krab is a restaurant, and Mr. Krabs is the owner, and SpongeBob is the fry cook, and Patrick is the cashier, and Squidward is the cashier, and Mr. Krabs is a crab, and SpongeBob is a sponge, and Patrick is a starfish, and Squidward is an octopus. So the next thing is the chum bucket.
Once again,
and the chum
Squidward is not an
restaurant,
octopus.
And Plankton is the owner, and he's an
no.
amiibo. So the next thing is the pineapple house, and SpongeBob lives in the pineapple house, and Patrick lives under a rock. So the next thing is Bikini Bottom is the place where SpongeBob, Sandy, Krabs, Squidward, and Plankton, and all
Is there any way I can speed this up? About this. About this.
the other characters' life. So the next thing is the Sandy SpongeBob episode. And in that episode, Sandy takes SpongeBob to Texas. Jai Zia Lai Shi Hai Mai Bao Bao He Sang Dai Lai and Ji Sang Dai Shi Hao Peng Yu. Sang Dai Shi Song Chu. Hai Mai Bao Bao Shi Hai Mai. Tom and Sai Mai Mai Mai. Jai Zia Lai Shi Krusty Krab Duo Chu Shi. And the SpongeBob conspiracy theory saying
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
SpongeBob is the son of Sandy. And the SpongeBob is the mother of Patrick. Because Patrick SpongeBob is the
Oh no!
Sandy is the mother of SpongeBob. The son of SpongeBob.
No. No. No.
SpongeBob is the mother of Sandy. Because Sandy is the mother of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is the son of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is the
Oh no, my soul is being taken. Oh no.
What the fuck? Okay, I'm sure you guys are all very confused about what you just saw. I'll just be honest. I
Tell
was
me,
trying
Alex
to
Bill,
use
what happened?
artificial intelligence to make a SpongeBob conspiracy, so I wouldn't
You
have
made
to,
a mistake.
do all the research.
You have scarred us for life.
AI would just do it. I guess it didn't work so well. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe the
it didn't work so well. Yeah, you think, Alex Bill? You are a horrible person. You made us have to endure 15 minutes of your bull crap, and I'm done with it. I'm going to go see a therapist, aka myself, because I am a therapist.
technology just isn't there yet. Alright, well, I guess I'll just, start working on an actual SpongeBob conspiracy
You
theory.
better.
Just, give me like a month and a half. I don't know, I'll figure something out.
Please do. I never want to watch that again.
Bye.
Bye. The SpongeBob guy. By the way, yeah. If you guys are as scared as I am, then let's agree to never talk about this 30-minute video ever again. Okay? So, are you scarred? Good. Me too. Goodbye.